27 Club.
Thanks for tuning in. We are back for another episode of the Real Estate Tailgate. What is going on, fellas?
What up, doe?
Yo, what's up?
April in the D. April in the D. It doesn't seem like it, but it is.
Yeah. Today's April 2nd.
April 2nd. This is an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
It seems like Mother Nature is a little snow, a little rain.
Yeah. Mother Nature is
chuckling. It was like 34 degrees, but I guess it's supposed to get up to like 56. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and the potential for some tornadoes later today, too.
Great.
So we're getting a little bit of everything today, folks.
Yep.
Here in the motor.
But it is April in the D. That means Tigers home opener coming up this Friday. This Friday, right? The 4th?
The 4th.
Is it the 4th or the 5th? That's the 4th.
I believe it's the 4th.
Yep.
Yep. In 2 days. Home
holiday opener here in the Motor City.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Professor, you got some fresh looking Tigers.
Yeah, I forgot to wear some Tigers apparel today, man. I didn't think ahead.
Well, I had to rep the Tigers today because, like Mike said, we got home opener in 2 days, and then the season actually started already.
Yep.
So I guess I'll start off by just touching on that. Tigers season started, last week?
Yep.
We started out on the West Coast, and our first series was against the reigning champs, the Dodgers. And I didn't get a chance to watch any of the whole games. I did catch bits and pieces, but just from the first series, from what I saw, team's doing pretty good on the offensive side, especially against the Dodgers. We scored some runs.
I think it's wild that they're playing National League teams. Like, I know they've had interleague play all along, but it's wild to open up with it. Right? It used to be like a big deal, like 2 weeks in July or whatever was interleague play, and now it's like spread out whenever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild to me. I'm like, we're playing the Dodgers for...
You had to start off.
Like, yeah, it's kind of wild.
It is kind of wild. Yeah, they crushed us. They won all 3 games, but...
we just took 2 from Seattle, though.
Yep, we just took 2 from
Seattle. We won last night again.
Yep. And, overall, from what I know, the team's looking pretty good. I mean, I think one of the highlights was, I'm going to call him a kid, but the young man, the pitcher that we got, Jackson Joe, came out.
Made his debut?
Made his debut, not last night, I think the first game in Seattle.
Yep.
And did pretty good. I mean, we won that game, but he did. He did okay. I mean, the cat's 22 years old. So
yeah, I know.
I think everyone was like anticipating.
AJ Hinch said he did good, but like they got to work on some things. But he thinks he's going to be good.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think a lot of people, I think when they first brought him into the system, they didn't expect him even making a start this early. So, I mean, he made the roster and made the rotation. So
that's cool. I like rooting for the young guys, the new guys.
Yep. And since we're on baseball, I want to bring this up. Have you heard about the Torpedo Bats?
Oh, yeah. I was going to tell you that.
What's going on there?
You didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about this.
Oh, come on.
Wow. No. That's the hottest news in sports right now, dude. You must.
The Yankees
I know you've
got
been busy.
some new bat. It's a torpedo bat, and the meat of the bat is lowered more above. So for inside pitches, they had like 7 home runs the other game.
Yeah, I think in the first.
This bat was designed by MIT students or a professor at MIT.
Yeah, a former professor.
They did the analytics of the Yankees team and their batting. I mean, this is all high tech and
it's
engineering and everything. Like,
it's crazy.
Like they did it to them, to the players, and they're called torpedo bats. So instead of the barrel being the thickest, the meteor part is lowered down a little. And they had like 7 balls were flying out of the ballpark.
I don't know if this is accurate, but I think I heard they had like 15 home runs in their first 3 games.
Oh my god! And it's legal.
And it's legal now.
So when are we getting those torpedoes?
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's what the talk's about.
So it's a big controversy, but it's legal right now.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh because I saw this meme. It said the Yankees' new gloves, and it showed a picture of baseball player from the Yankees with this like giant glove, like the size of like a foam finger, like one of those foam hands. It's like the Yankees' new glove.
Yeah,
because the Yankees, whatever.
Well,
I don't hate the Yankees, but like a lot of people always,
I'll go on record.
a lot of people have always accused them of cheating, like for years and years, right, David? Even back in the olden days,
yeah. With the Yankees, you either hate them or you love them.
Yeah.
I mean, and
those damn Yankees.
Well, the thing about it is this is creating sides already. People are picking sides. Either they like it because if you really think about it,
I can't believe you didn't hear about Walter. It was pretty wild.
I mean, if you really think about it, that's been the big knock on baseball is that it's kind of a boring game. It's too long. There's not enough, action. And then this is something that could create a lot of offense and a lot of excitement because people just like home runs, right?
Yeah.
That's one side of it, but the other
side
of it
is it's not fair to the pitchers.
Yeah, it's not fair to the pitchers. I mean, if this is going to
if they were pitching them inside and jamming them, these guys are knocking them out, man.
And if all the teams are going to start having torpedo bats, because if it's legal, that means anyone can get it.
And I heard something. A couple other teams are already have them in the works. I forget who. I saw something a couple. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the whole.
Watch.
I don't know the whole story, but I saw a snippet of the guy that basically invented or came up with this.
Yeah, I know he was like an MIT professor. And He studied the Yankees analytics and every one of their like it was crazy.
Well, and there's not like one version. I guess it can be.
That's what I'm saying.
It can be tweaked per batter.
That's what I'm saying. He for their lineup. He studied everyone in their lineup.
Well, when I saw this,
looked at all the analytics.
This was yesterday, the day before. He's with the Seattle Mariners organization right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what his position is, but he had a Mariners hat on, and they said he's with the Mariners. So I don't know if he's a consultant for them now or whatever, but yeah, we're going to hear more about that here in the near future.
Sure we will.
So yeah, I definitely I wanted to bring that up.
So who we playing Wednesday? Or Friday? Home opener. Who do we got?
Opener. Let's take a look. We have
anyone going?
Is it the White Sox?
Anyone going? I think it is the White Sox. Anyone going? You going?
I'm not going.
I'm not going either. No. It's a big day though, man. Detroit does it right. Detroit does opening.
Well, some
day
people
right.
don't. Some people don't go to the game.
It's
they just go downtown.
Yeah, it's a big tailgating. All the
whatever.
bars have outdoor tents set up. It's a big thing in the D. It's a holiday, man.
Yeah, it is the White Sox.
It is the White Sox. Yeah.
I've
gone in the past. I'm not going this year though. But
yeah, I'm gonna. I mean,
fear not. The forecast is supposed to be better than the day.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's supposed to be like 58. It's been the 50s,
I think.
And some, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I know some years on opening day, it's been like brutal. Like
like today.
Yeah. Well, they started pushing the home opener back more and opening up on the road because before they used to have it earlier and it was like the weather was always iffy,
Yeah, I don't think it took a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Let's start in Detroit
out on the West Coast where it's a little sunny and 80 degrees or whatever early in the season.
Right.
Yeah. But so much for baseball. I did want to touch on a couple things. We still got our other sports teams rocking. Well, I'm using that term lightly. They're playing. The Pistons. I forgot. I didn't even jot this down. I wrote down some bullet points to make sure I don't forget some of the stuff. You heard about the brawl, right?
Yeah. I saw it.
Pistons just had another
video
brawl.
of it. Yeah.
So I saw a video of it too.
Woodward Sports had a good video of it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like someone from like close up. That was a good video of it.
I mean, I heard. I was listening to parts of that game right after it happened. I had to run an errand or something like that, and I turned on the radio, but. So I had to find the video, and I have time to watch a lot of versions of it. But yeah, that was pretty serious. A lot of the punishments are happening right now. So I think we had one player that was ejected for like 2 games, and we've got a couple that were ejected for 1 game, and then the other team had like 1 or 2 people that were ejected for a game. But that brought back memories of what?
Malice at the Palace.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember that game, yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of was like, wow,
yeah, because this fight, they started, inadvertently, it started going into the crowd.
Exactly.
So, it was a little different. Malice at the Palace, they intentionally, that was crazy. But yeah, kind of, I think everyone started thinking that too. It wasn't, And that Malice at the Palace, that was not a good look, man.
Yeah.
It was
No,
terrible.
really
It was bad. It was bad.
But it was a recent event, so I just wanted to at least bring that up. But besides that, man, the Pistons
are doing good, man.
Pistons
they're
are
going to
jamming.
the playoffs, dude. They're
Well,
going.
yeah, they're in the playoffs. It's just a matter of seeding right now.
Yep.
So, they're as a matter of fact, what was the stat? I think they broke the record for most improved wins
from year over year. Yeah,
year over year. I think they've tripled the amount of wins.
Something like that. Yeah, I saw that.
They're the first team in history from the previous year because we had
it's
such
an amazing
a bad year
turnaround. Such an amazing turnaround for sure.
Yeah, so kudos to our Pistons.
Yes. Detroit basketball.
Yes.
Yeah. Excited to see them.
Want to touch on the Wings because the Wings are still playing, but their hopes of getting to the playoffs.
They're out.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of felt they were out.
They're not okay. So mathematically, they're not out, but they're out.
No. Well, last night.
I'm sorry to say it, but they are. They took a point last night.
I know. I saw the last couple of minutes of that game. We were ahead 1-0 in the third period. Okay, and it got down to 27.9 seconds. We were playing the Blues. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking we were up 1-0, and the Blues have been hot. The Blues were on a 9-game winning streak, and I'm thinking, why are we keeping that puck in our zone? Well, we are playing prevent. How you just play you're just basically saying, hey, we're just going to let the clock run out. Yeah. So, anyways, they scored 27.9, I think, as well. Yeah, seconds 28, left.
Yeah.
They scored, tied it up, and then they ended up winning in overtime.
So, man, they just had a terrible mark. They're still in it, but mathematically they are, but they're out, man. They only had 8 points in March. The month of March, they got 8 points.
Well, we have 1 point in April so far.
Way to be on the positive side. Man, I was watching at the post game too. I've been noticing, man, the players just look defeated. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
When they're interviewing them, I mean, I know no one's ever pumped up after a loss, but I mean, they look defeated.
Well,
Most Sider, they were interviewed him. He just looked he looked like beaten, man.
Yeah, and confused.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah,
Damn, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to get into that, but
we don't have time for that.
It's been
just
6 years. 6 years is all I can say.
Try again next year.
What about the Final Four? Anyone like the Final Four? All number one seeds.
All number one seeds.
So this weekend's Final Four.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it is what it is, but you're
rooting for anyone?
Exciting.
Or you don't care at this point?
I don't care at this point, unfortunately.
I don't either. I did a bracket. My bracket's the only one I still got left in the bracket is Duke. So
I didn't even pull out my bracket.
I don't have enough points to win, so it's not going to matter.
I haven't even looked at my brackets since this last round. I mean, to be honest,
kind of rooting for. I don't know.
Well, those of you that know me, I'm a Buckeye. My Buckeyes didn't even.
They didn't even make the tournament.
No. They weren't even in.
They weren't in the dance. No.
Yeah, they weren't even in the same country. But anyway,
I didn't think this was that exciting of a March Madness. But I don't know. I watched a lot of games and there was some good basketball. But
well, it was exciting for the. To me, it was exciting for the Big Ten and for the Michigan teams. Okay, I mean, hey, Michigan.
They did all right.
They did all right, and Michigan State did all right too. But once again, they just got knocked out last week. Michigan State did.
Yeah, they got a lot knocked out in the 8, but I don't know. They came out flat, man. They just trailed the whole game. They couldn't. They playing catch up the whole game.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they've been doing that almost every game.
Yeah, I know. They were a second half team all year, but they didn't make it that game.
Well, no.
Anyways,
it is what it is.
Yeah. What else we got? Badminton, croquet, shuffleboard.
I got bowling.
Foaling.
Oh, I love foaling.
The foaling's fun.
Foaling's fun.
It is fun.
Shout out Foaling Warehouse Amtrak.
That's right.
Well, I guess the only thing we really didn't talk about is the NFL. So let's just touch on the NFL and then we'll get into some real stuff. The only reason I want to bring it up is because it is still the off season, but we've got some things coming up, and our Lions, have been making some moves. Not no major things, but the first thing I wanted to bring up was the. I guess they just made the announcement yesterday or day before about Christmas games. There's different opinions about the Christmas games. We're going to have 3 Christmas NFL games again this year.
Yeah, we did last year, right?
Yeah, but I think that was the first time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
traditionally,
Yeah.
Christmas usually has been an NBA type holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the way when I grew up.
Right.
I remember, having the games on or whatever later in the day, the NBA games back to back, whatever. But the NFL's gotten into the
follow the money.
Yeah. So I just thought I brought and the reason I'm bringing that up is there's a good possibility the Lions might be attached to one of those games.
Christmas is on a Thursday, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Turn it into a whole weekend thing.
Yeah. And they're probably going to have, it's going to be a Thursday game, which means,
The Lions. They're saying the Lions could have a Christmas game.
Yep, that's what I heard.
What if it's a home game? That's not going to go over well.
But see, that's
So
what
I'm
I
gonna
mean.
have to go to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We'll wait to see because when the true schedules come out, I guess we'll know then.
Draft is coming up April 24th, 25th, 26th, I believe.
Yep, and we did. Lions did pick up another cornerback that's coming to us with a ring, Avante Maddox, that coming from the Eagles. So he just got his ring with the Eagles, and he's coming over.
I'm
to be a
curious.
Lion.
I'm anxious to see what the Lions do in the draft. So I'm fine with their free agency, what they did. There's no big splashes. People are mad about it, but man, we got some contracts to re-sign. To keep guys here too.
Exactly.
Kirby Joseph, they're working that out, and that's huge to me, man. He's one of the best safeties in the league.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that's that. I mean, you got to remember that. So.
We got quite a few of our guys.
They're talking about they're going to
sign.
sign JMO. I think they're going to pick up his 5th-year option, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to see what they do in the draft. And don't count on Zadarius Smith. I have a feeling he's going to end back up.
You think
he's
so?
going to end up on the Lions? Yep. He's still not playing. He's still not signed for anyone.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, we did let him go or didn't re-sign him, whatever.
I mean, it's business. And Brad Holmes said, I saw an interview with him the other day. He said he understood that him and Zadarius Smith talked. He understood, it's business. So that they just couldn't afford him at that time. And he wanted to test the market too, right? So
exactly,
that's what he should do, right? Zadarius. So
Yeah.
but I think it'd be cool if we could have him alongside Hutch and then maybe draft an end. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
Fill up that D line.
We still got time.
Oh, yeah.
Looking to see what happens here in the near future. So I believe that's it for our local sports for the most part. I mean, the UFL did start their season. Only reason I'm bringing that up is why am I bringing that up? Who do we have on the Lions that recently came from the UFL?
Our fearless kicker.
Our fearless
Jake.
Yes, you called it. You called it last year. I can't. That's a highlight you got to pull up. That's one of the highlights you got to pull up. I can't believe you called that.
That's some of the clips that I found or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talked about that.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
And then
You talked about him for like 3 shows, and then then you started building up that the Lions should get him, and then lo and behold, he's on the Lions. It was crazy.
yeah. He's actually. I just saw a snippet. I had to chuckle to myself. He's one of the. He broke some record or something I forgot what the record was. I should have wrote it down. I think it was like first year player or something. That scored the most points or.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But the real wild sports is this crazy real estate market we're in.
Isn't it?
That's a sport, man. It's the wild, wild west out there.
Man, that's a sport where you gotta like wear some heavy protective equipment when you go out there and battle for that. When you're talking about real estate, man. Matter of fact, you got to make sure you don't say that too loud.
The market is hot, and I've been out working it both sides, sellers and buyers, and it's a hot market, man. Multiple offers all the way around. That's what I'm seeing. Houses are going quick. People are getting crazy too with their bids. I'm seeing, of course, over asking price. Of course, appraisal guarantees. But I'm seeing people waive their home inspection.
Oh wow, we're there already, huh?
Which I never advise. Rarely. No, I would say never. If you want to do it, do so at your own peril. But I'm seeing it already. I can't believe it. So
April
crazy.
in the D.
April in the D, but it's going to remain a seller's market for sure. Had a new listing last week. Was it last week? Yeah, I think it was a week ago. One day in the market. I had 10 showings and 7 offers in one day from between 9 and 5. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's 10 showings, 7 offers that day. All over asking price. Needless to say, it's pending. So it's crazy out there.
That is crazy, man. But that's the way. I mean, it's been kind of that way for the last several years.
It has. It not really is nothing new. It really isn't.
Yeah.
But
well, it cools down a little bit.
Yeah, it cooled down. It always
just a little
fall,
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then
inventory kind of builds up towards the fall. Things that didn't sell, and then all of a sudden, But I didn't know. We said earlier in the other episodes, we didn't know how it would play out in the spring exactly, but we predicted a seller's market for sure. But whether it be extreme or not, and it's looking that way. Nothing's gonna change. So, and interest rates aren't scaring people. I mean, like I said, 10 showings, 7 offers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's been the norm for a while now where rates are at. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, there are some people out there that can say that rates are high, but we've discussed this in the past. I mean, rates really aren't high. When you look at the overall picture long term, over the last 30 years.
You know what's crazy, David? I remember when I first started in real estate 20-something years ago. But I remember, and that was the thing. Everyone's like, I learned it from my manager at the time, and people would say, where are the rates at? And we'd be all like, oh, they're in the 6s. They're in the 6s. Their rates are good. They're in the 6s. Like, we were like broadcasting it. They're in the 6s.
Exactly.
Low 6s. Like, it was a big deal. Everyone was like,
that was a big deal.
About it. Yeah,
when they came down from the 8.5.
Yeah, this was like 2003. Like, people, how are the rates? We go, oh, they're good. They're in the 6s. And now people are like, oh God, what are the rates at? But I think now it's like you said, it's becoming the norm because it's been a while now. So it's been like a year, right?
Exactly.
It's been a year they've been in 6s, and they're not really going to change any. That's where they're going to be for a while. So up and down there, of course they go up and down, but you're not going to see 3% again for.
Oh yeah, and as far as rates,
a long time, if ever.
Yeah, as far as rates overall, and people that when they hear about rates, they think about what the Fed's doing. I just thought I'd bring that up real quick. I mean, with everything going on with the economy and inflation and talk of a potential recession and everything else, now there's some forecasts out there that that maybe the Fed might make 3 more cuts this year instead of 2. That was the last thing we heard. And then just recently now they're saying that now the Fed might make a 3rd cut, which, over recent times that has had an effect on mortgage interest rates, but, not just overall and not directly. Just because the Fed cuts rates doesn't mean mortgage rates are going to go down. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So if there's anyone listening and thinking and, paying attention to rates, if you really want to have a good discussion about interest rates and mortgage interest rates in particular, give me a call. Yeah, I'll make time to talk to you about it. I did want to talk about, I wanted to bring up that there are some changes and potential changes going on in the mortgage industry. I just want to throw that out there. One change that did just recently happened in the last less than 10 days maybe is that FHA, if you've heard of FHA, did make a rule change where they are not going to be allowing for non-permanent citizens to qualify for an FHA mortgage.
Did this happened, or they're talking about it?
No, it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually it's a rule now.
So what's a non-permanent citizen?
In the past, a lot of people might not be aware of this because they just hadn't heard of it, or they're not familiar with the industry, or they've never experienced it themselves. But in the past, if you were here, maybe you were here on a visa, like a work visa, H-1B visa, and in some cases, maybe some type of a student visa, and you were maybe maybe working to get your permanent green card or become a citizen, you could, if you qualified, you could get an FHA loan. Now you're going to have to wait until you become basically a permanent citizen.
So you have to have a green card now to get an FHA loan?
Correct. Okay. And once again, this rule just changed, and I don't know if there's going to be any tweaking or anything, so I don't want to write on it too long.
Now, what about conventional?
And that's the reason I'm bringing it up. Right now, it happened to FHA, and our industry, the mortgage industry, we've already, we're already pushing HUD, which is who backs FHA, and the GSEs in general. We're pushing the GSEs, which is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and we are saying we don't want the same thing to happen with Fannie and Freddie. And basically, without getting deep into it, it just basically what it does is it shrinks the pool of borrowers, and it just changes a lot of people's plans. There's just a lot of people that plan to maybe come over to the country or bring a family member to the country, and and they're setting them up, for housing, because everyone's got to have housing, right?
Right.
So you're either going to buy, or you're going to rent, or you're going to live with family. So it just changes people's plans. And once again, it's a rule change that affects the industry as a whole.
And this is nationwide, right?
This is nationwide.
This isn't a Michigan thing.
Nope, it's nationwide. Okay. Yep, it's nationwide. So it's going to have an effect on different communities in different ways. We'll see how things play out. But I just did want to at least mention it, only because the whole industry is always going through changes.
Here's a question: what about anyone that had one, was in the process while this rule or law, whatever it is, came out? What if someone was in the process of going through the FHA, had a purchase agreement, signed purchase agreement, was in the mortgage process with FHA? Are they allowed to continue to?
That's a good question.
Or is that?
That's a good question. I don't have the rule open in front of me right now.
That would be messed up if they. If they nixed it right in the middle of a transaction.
I don't have the rule in front of me right now, but with FHA, I know that there was a deadline. So in other words, with FHA,
I would think that they would have worded it that way, like.
Oh yeah.
Going forward, Yep.
Yeah. There's definitely a deadline.
This going forward.
Don't hold me to this date, but I think it's like May 25th. So in other words,
okay.
So when you get an FHA loan, and you find a house, and you start going through the mortgage process, you have to get an FHA case number. So I believe your case number for your loan, no matter what type of because there's different kind of FHA.
So if you have a case number, you're probably locked in. You're probably good.
If you have a case number before that
makes
date,
sense.
Then you're good.
That makes sense. But there's going to be no new case numbers
after that date. Correct.
If you don't have a green card. Correct.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. So
that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, and as I get news, I'll keep you all posted.
Okay. FHA is still a good product. Just a bummer that. But they can still go conventional.
For right now, yeah. Like I said,
if they qualify.
If they qualify.
3% down conventional, 5% conventional. There's different programs.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to segue into types of loans. There's more than just a conventional loan, folks.
Now, I heard, in addition to FHA, I believe I heard the RD is also attached to that, right? They're not allowing, you have to have a green card now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I brought up FHA only because FHA is a lot more popular. FHA basically can be used anywhere. RD is kind of that's regional.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have never even heard of RD. But
rural development, for those that are curious what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a rural development mortgage or loan.
Yep. And that's the type of loan that I handle as well.
Yeah.
Me and my company. There's a lot of companies that handle that type of loan.
You can't use one here in Grosse Pointe or St. Clair Shores. So
right, that loan is designed more where there's
country
out in the country where there's less population. I guess that's the easiest way to explain it.
I've actually sold a few houses out in the country, and they use the RD.
There are a lot of areas in Michigan that are RD eligible.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's other rules as well.
Sure.
Okay, there's income rules, and so since you brought it up, an RD loan is a good product to look at if you're looking in an area that qualifies and you qualify. And the reason it's a good product is because it's a no money down loan.
Yeah, it's
kind of like a VA loan. A VA loan, you can get a mortgage and buy a home with no money down. And RD's kind of the same way, but like I said, it is a limited product as far as
it has to. The first thing to do is check the area if you're going to do that.
Yep.
So
yep. But we have some areas here not far from the metro
I
area.
actually sold one. This was years back. It was in the map of that qualified, but it wasn't really. It was a subdivision. It wasn't in the country, but it was out. And it fit in the map. So I was surprised. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be like a farm home, like an old farm home.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could be in a subdivision.
This was in a subdivition. It was at the time. I think it was New Haven, in that area, 25 mile.
Yep. At that time, like I said, the map does change.
This is probably like 7 years ago.
Yeah, the map changes. It gets adjusted. They look at it every year, pretty much. Adjustments are made if they need to be. But I just want to bring up that there's a number of types of loans. I mentioned FHA. We just talked up for a few minutes about RD, rural development. VA, I brought that up, for veterans. And it's a great loan product for veterans. Absolutely. And but we also have some, and those are, for the most part, your traditional loans. But we also have non-traditional. In our industry, we call them non-QM now. And those are some specialty loans. An example would be
non-qualifying, non-QM.
Yeah,
is Q for qualifying?
Non-qualified
used
mortgage.
To be non-conforming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. That was back. You're going back.
I'm old.
No, me too, man. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
I still remember the HUD statements.
Yep.
You said it's a newer agents are like, what? I'm like, it's on the HUD.
Yeah, it's funny that you're bringing that up. I mean, a lot of people in our industry, a lot of realtors do not know that the HUD 1 still exists. Okay? The reason I know this, and I actually use the HUD 1 statement, is because I happen to deal with reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages is a product that's totally different. And I'll maybe touch on that a little bit down the road, because there is a way you can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. But the reverse mortgage is totally different. It does not use a closing disclosure. It uses the old HUD 1. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Yep.
I remember the HUD ones.
Yep. So that still gets used. However, we were talking about non-QM, and I just wanted to throw that out there. The example that comes fresh in my mind from a recent client is a bank statement loan. Someone that's self-employed, and they're showing great income coming in through their bank account. There's different flavors. Sometimes it's your personal account, sometimes it's your business account.
I like vanilla.
Yeah, I like chocolate. But as far as, there's a way where we can maybe use the cash flow of money going into the bank to use that as income, as opposed to a traditional, complete tax returns. And
right. So just because you're self-employed or a waitress, even you can get a mortgage. Talk to David. He can qualify you, and there's a good chance we can get you work something out for you.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man.
It used to be early in my career, people were like self-employed. I was like, it was almost like impossible to get a mortgage.
Yep.
Not impossible. I said almost but it was very it's not as difficult as early on in my career.
And it's all about knowledge, getting the knowledge. We've got the information, folks. If you have questions about financing, getting a home, what will it take? How can I do this? How much money do I need? Anything like that, reach out.
David will find you a loan. I'll find you a home.
There you go. How are we doing on time, Doc? How are we doing on time there, Doc?
We're just over 40 minutes, so we're
we're doing pretty good.
Doing great.
So, anything else you want to bring up, Mike?
I think that's about it.
Yeah. So
that's all I got today.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode, folks. Once again, we so much appreciate anyone that's listening to us that does it on the regular, especially, and we appreciate the support. We ask that you continue, if you can fit it in your day to listen to us. We really appreciate it. And we're also on Spotify and where, Mike?
YouTube. If you could like our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, rate us on Spotify. We appreciate all the follows. Get some great activities, some really good stats, and any comments we're gonna try and we've been slacking on that. We get a lot of comments in the YouTube stuff, but we'll try and address those in future episodes. So
we got some guests,
questions,
also guests.
We do have some guests lined up. Yep,
in the queue.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank, as always, our trusty producer, Dr. Walter Hooper.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
Yeah, thanks, Hoop. I still want to have Hooper on.
Yeah,
are we gonna get Hooper? It's Hooper's birthday.
Well, well, actually, my birthday.
You guys are gonna trip out one day. Hooper's gonna be at the door, and you're gonna be like, "Hey, who's here?" Well, we're in here taping, and Hooper's gonna come walking in. It's like what I said in the
last episode. Mitchell making those mascot dreams come true.
Yeah, your birthday's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yep, it is. It's day after tax day, so
yeah.
So, yeah, we'll
shout out to myself. My taxes are done ahead of time.
I gotta get
for once.
Yeah, I think
I'm all set.
I think when we were taping last, I think you were getting ready to go get him done.
Yes. Yeah.
I gotta make my phone call.
My least favorite thing to do every year.
I know it's
for a lot of folks,
especially
so
being self-employed.
Yeah, but
how can people contact you both?
Call.
Radio silent.
Call or text is the best way for me. Dave Underwood, Top Flight Home Loans, 248-219-3457.
Same with me. Call or text is the easiest way, 586-291-2652, or find me on Facebook at Shores Realtor.
All right, folks. Until next time, we appreciate you, and
go Tigers.
Go Tigers.